Okay guys, go ahead and pull out Class 25 homework for composition for the narrative essay, and I'll quickly go over the things we did in class. On the front here, this is a cheat sheet for you of what we're getting ready to cover on this video. And what I want you to do is go ahead and pull out this chart. And this chart has a side 1 and a side 2. And we're going to start with side 1, which is participles. I'm going to give that to Robbie. All right. Let's see. All right, this is Write Like a Professional. We're going to quickly go over about how to write things. What you guys have been doing is you work so hard the first of the school year, writing tons of papers. You've already written your narrative, your first draft of your narrative, or if you haven't, you're going to do that. And the kids brought in their narratives to class. What you're going to do now is you're going to go back into your narrative and you're going to start adding things like participles, absolutes, appositives, adjectives that are shifted out of order, vivid verbs, and similes. But before you add them into your narrative, we're going to practice using them. Some are familiar and some are not. The first one we're going to look at is participles. If you remember when we played basketball last year, we talked about verbals. They're these words, so words that act like, they sound like verbs, but they're nouns. So you're going to be looking at an ing verb or an ed verb that's going to be placed at the beginning of a sentence, or a phrase that begins with ing or ed and is at the beginning of a sentence. For example, the diamond-scaled snakes attacked the prey. Robbie, read the better one.
Hissing and slithering, the diamond-scaled snake attacked the prey.
Yeah, so you've got this hissing and slithering. So that's an ing opening, essentially. So hissing and slithering is about the snakes and how they attack the prey. So it's almost like a number, it is a number 4 opener for IEW. So that one's pretty easy. All right, here's an example from literature. Shifting the weight of the line to his left shoulder and kneeling carefully, he washed his hand in the ocean and held it there, submerged, for more than a minute, watching the blood trail away and the steady movement of the water against his hand as the boat moved forward. So this is from Old Man the Sea. And if you look right here, he's got the ing here, shifting the weight, and you move on through. He's got the ed with submerged, and then watching again, another ing. And they all are making the sentence much more complex and stronger. All right, we're going to look at absolutes. These are the ones that I think are kind of the, maybe the trickiest, but let's walk through them. It's a 2-word combination, a noun and an ing or an ed verb put together, added to a sentence, or a combination. Here is an example. The cat climbed the tree. Read the second one, Robbie. Right here.
Feet kicking, the cat climbed the tree.
Yes, you've got a noun and an ing put together at the beginning of a sentence. So feet kicking, the cat climbed the tree. Or you could use something like with more phrases, feet kicking, on the slick birch branch, the cat climbed the tree. There's also an alliteration right there. All right, here's an example from literature. The mummy was moving, torn wrappings hanging from its arm. The mummy stepped out of its gilded box. A scream froze in Carla's throat. All right, let's look at appositives. You know these are easy peasy. It's a noun that adds a second image to a preceding noun. It's going to be like an invisible who, which. All right, the raccoon enjoys eating turtle eggs. Better yet, Robbie.
The raccoon scavenger enjoys eating turtle eggs.
So this right here is just like an invisible who, which. Instead of saying the raccoon, who is a scavenger, enjoys eating turtle eggs, you just take out the who. You have an invisible one. Or down here, the raccoon, a midnight scavenger who roams lake shorelines in a quest to fill its belly, enjoys eating turtle eggs. So pretty easy. Here's an example from literature. Dave, my older brother, an inventor of the super duper electromagnet, decided that I should test his invention. Okay? All right, flip your page over and you're going to hit adjectives placed out of order. Adjectives are easy, but placing them out of order is different. Instead of just stringing 3 adjectives into a row, you're going to place 1 before the noun, 1 before the noun, and 2 after the noun, and it really makes a big difference. I don't see y'all doing this much. This will be a new one for you to try. Here's the example. The large, red-eyed, angry bull charged the matador. Large, red-eyed, angry bull. Robbie, you read the better one.
The large bull, red-eyed and angry, charged the matador.
Yes. So much better, has a whole different flow to it, and notice the commas are there. So these are kind of fun, I think. Not too hard. All right, the example from literature. The pavilion was a simple city, long and rectangular. And so instead of saying a long, rectangular, simple city, they divided that up. It gives different emphasis. I could smell Mama, crisp and starched, plumping my pillow, and the cool muslin pillowcase touched both my ears as the back of my head sank into those feathers. So again, just putting crisp and starched afterwards makes such a difference. Okay, next, vivid verbs. That's pretty easy, but let's talk about it. You're going to go through your paper later, and you're going to avoid any to-be verbs. Instead, use energized verbs and good vivid choices, such as, the gravel road was on the left side of the barn. No good, there's the was. Better yet, the gravel road curled around the left side of the barn. Definitely paints more of a picture, which is what you're trying to do in your autobiographical incident. Okay, examples from literature. Lenny dabbled his big paw in the water and wiggled his fingers so the water arose in little splashes. Rings widened across the pool to the other side and came back again. That's from Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. All right, next, another easy one. We all know what they are, but they're harder to make. Similes and metaphors, or to make good ones, that is. So you're comparing two dissimilar things for the sake of creating an image in the reader's mind. Similes do this using like or as, or any connective wording. Metaphors do this without the like or as. All right? The wind cut through my scarf and froze my neck. Better yet, Gara.
The wind, as icy as a witch's curse, cut through my scarf and froze my neck.
Yep. All right, then from literature, a simile. A pure white mist crept over the water like a breath upon a mirror. And then you can do this one.
Love is a battlefield.
Love is a battlefield. Pat Benatar. Whoa. Do you know that? You should look it up. We looked it up in class. Pat Benatar from the 80s. She's great. All right, so now what I want you guys to do is you're going to take that chart. Can you see it? And I want you to go through and in your own words, kind of explain what each technique is. You can go back and use the video if you want. Then you're going to read the examples that they give you. And you're going to underline the technique. For number 3, you're actually going to model their sentence. And write a sentence right here modeled after this one. And number 4, then you come up with your own complete, unique sentence using the technique. We talked about, like with, coming back over here, like with this one. It was something he had never tasted before, very sweet and foamy and creamy, and it warmed him right down to his toes. All right, the first time when you want to model and copy the sentence, you can slightly change it. So Bob, let's see, caramel corn was, what's something different? Roller coasters was something he had never ridden before. Very, what? Crazy and hilly and scary. That's a pretty lousy sentence. But you see how we're modeling their exact techniques? So you can just come back through the sentence and change things up. Instead of doing tasting, make it be smelling. And then down here, you can be more unique. All right, that's it. So after you fill out this chart, then let me know and I'll send you the answers once you filled it out. Then next, you're going to go to the heist, which is in your homework. It's a short story. Can you see that? The heist. And I have some new directions for you. We passed out in class. How do I get that over there? Does that work? Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through the heist and you are going to actually circle the participial phrases. You're going to underline one absolute phrase, draw a rectangle around 2 appositives, draw a star over the adjectives that are shifted out of order, use a highlighter to mark vivid verbs, write M at the beginning of a line that includes a metaphor, S for a simile, and on the back of the paper explain which element of this story is ironic. So I'll snap you a picture of this too so you don't have to stare at the video, but there it is. So finally, after you've done all that, one of the last things that you have to do is you have to go back in and you've applied it to the heist essay, and then you have to go back in and you've got to use these same techniques in your narrative draft. So go back in and put all those in. And then you're going to bring your latest copy of your draft for peer editing next week. All right, hopefully that will help you with Class 25 homework.